Okay, guys, this is the 150-day post-testosterone labs. And one thing I failed to mention in the last few of these, the last like 3 weeks I was on testosterone before the 150 days, I was doing like 60 milligrams a week. So I did taper the dose down quite a bit towards the end. So that's something to make note of. So obviously I haven't been on Clomid, any SERMs in a while. Haven't been on HCG, HMG, haven't been on anything in about probably 70 days now. So this is all on nothing except natural supplements. So the big things here: glucose 84, that went down 4 points. This is fasted. Glucose on the last few blood work was 88. BUN went up to 22. It was like 13 on the last one. I think a big part of that though is from training, because I'm still training very hard and pushing myself. I think that would be basically 10 or less if I wasn't training, but I'm training hard still, so that's probably why that's 22, which is still good, but not as low as the 13 from last time. Now, creatinine, 0.95. It was 1.03 on the last blood test. So that's been going down quite a bit. And this is the one, this also with the EGFR of 108. So EGFR is just based off of creatinine. That's how it's calculated, as far as the formula. And this is where everybody on Instagram gave me a hard time, saying that it's just muscle loss and weight loss as far as the creatinine going down, when in fact I did add some muscle this last month since the last labs, and my weight has steadied at 217, 218 depending on the day. So I really haven't lost weight since the last lab panels, but they still want to say that that's all it is. But that's nothing we can do about that. So 0.95 at my the lowest I've actually seen was my chiropractor. He was at 0.85 creatinine. So if anybody out there, if you guys, any of you have had a creatinine of zero point 0.9 or lower, post it up. I'm real curious to see what the lowest creatinine is for my viewership. I want to see if anybody's like 0.85 or lower, or 0.9 lower, or anything like that. So my goal was to get above 100 EGFR, and I'm at 108. So goal accomplished. This was on 4 total capsules of the Leviathan Kidney Support every day, which people want to make out like it's nothing and it's just muscle and weight loss, but that is astragalus. It has alpha lipoic acid. It has berberine. It's just all sorts of good stuff, and people want to be like, oh, it doesn't. I'm not peddling fake supplements. Like I said, it is what it is. I'll let that be. Other things, globulin still 1.7. I think that's tied to my hematocrit or my red blood cell count, because those are still pretty low. It's not like way out of range, so I'm not worried about it. AST and ALT were 17 and 19 here, which ALT was 25 on the last test, and AST was 21, so they went down about 4 to 6 points because I upped my TUDCA. This was the one variable. I try to do like one controlled variable on each lab panel. So the controlled variable for this one, the only thing I changed was I changed my TUDCA dosage from 300 milligrams per day to 600 milligrams per day. So I would take 300 in the morning, 300 in the evening, and that brought my liver enzymes down a little bit. The only person I've honestly ever seen with lower liver enzymes was Vigorous Steve, which I'll probably be doing a podcast with him in the coming weeks. But he was at like 17 ALT and 12 AST, and he's the lowest I've ever seen. But these are pretty good for training hard. Like, honestly, I don't know if you could get much lower while still training pretty tough or pretty difficult, pretty heavy. Total testosterone 409, so it didn't go up as much as I thought, because the last lab panel it was 361, and now it's up 409, so roughly 50 points it went up, which means it's starting to slow down a bit. So we're at the 5 month mark. I'm happy to be back in the 400s. Obviously, my goal is 600, but it appears that the how high it's increasing is slowing down, and it might take another 6 months to get to 600 if we even get there. But we'll see. I'd venture to guess on the next lab panel we'll still be in the low fours. I don't think it's going to increase by any dramatic extent now. Um, the big increases are over with. Estradiol went from 15 to 19, so obviously that ties into the slightly higher testosterone levels. And if I got to 600 or so, I think that estradiol would be in the 40, 30, 35, 40 range. Keep going here. FSH 3.4, LH 1.7. So LH is very low, and it really hasn't gone up at all in the last couple months. So FSH is pretty low in its own right. Those haven't really gone up at all in the last 3 lab panels. So there's not much luteinizing hormone signaling going on here, which is probably why the test isn't great. I'm surprised it's actually still going up because my LH is so low. There's not a lot of brain signaling going on there. And I don't know if the LH will go up in the coming months. I'll be very curious to see because it's just kind of sitting in this like 1.7 to 2.0 range. And same with FSH, it's kind of sitting in that 3.1 to 3.5 range. So I don't know about that, but white blood cell count went up slightly. It was about 3.7 on the last panel. Now we're at 4.0. RBC went up a little bit. It's still in the low range, barely, but I'm at least happy to know that my red blood cell count and hematocrit are going up because the last lab panel I was like 38.5 hematocrit. Now I'm 39.6, and I'm actually much less dizzy when I get done with like a deadlift set. So I still get it a little lightheaded, but if that goes up, I'd still like to get that around 45. We will see in the coming months. Nothing else too notable here. And then I did the lipid panel on this one. So this is what I've talked about in the past. I did a lipid panel 2 months ago and my LDL was 121. Now it's 124. So I really do have poor genetics as far as cholesterol goes. Most people would be below 100 in the shape I'm in right now, doing cardio and being 218 pounds and such, being active. I will say one thing, over the last 12 days leading into this blood panel, my diet wasn't as great as it has been. I was eating more junk because my metabolism is sped up quite a bit now. So I've been eating a little more. I'm back on the diet now again. So I don't know. I've never gotten below 120 LDL, which kind of sucks. But the good thing, the HDL went up to 54. I think it was like 37 on the last one I did 2 months ago. And triglycerides are at 87. So I don't know. I was taking about 5 grams of fish oil per day, which may have improved the HDL and triglycerides. I might try, what is it called? Citrus bergamot. I might try that again. I tried it a while back. Citrus bergamot has more of an effect on the HDL. It will raise your HDL quite a bit, but not so much on the LDL. So I don't know if any of you guys have ideas about the LDL. Put them out there. Obviously, there's ezetimibe. That's always an option. I don't want to do any statins or anything harsh, but we'll see. I might try Leviathan Ire again. That was one I tried in the past that I didn't see a ton of change from. So I'm not being biased here. Like when I tried Leviathan Ire in the past, I didn't see a whole lot of change, but my buddy saw a ton of change when he took it, so I don't know. But the kidney support, I've seen quite a bit of changes, and same with the TUDCA. But that's everything for this month. We will do a 180-day panel. That one might be more basic. I may not do lipids on that one. I'll probably do lipids every 2 months. So that'll just be like a basic panel. Everything here except for the lipids is what we'll do on the next one. I'm also thinking about getting a 23andMe done, so I can look into my genetics a little bit and see how everything is looking. But yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. If you do want to try the Leviathan supplements, you can use my code, which is just Pete, for 10% off, and I will put that link below. Thank you, guys.